Finally, it rises.
Hey, it's the Lincoln Addict here, and I want to show you, this is my homie, my brother from another mother, Tony Boss Bolin. Want to show you a quick video of the install of his Mel 430. This is his 65 Lincoln Continental sedan. He likes to throw the Christmas tree on it around the Christmas season and take it out to Daytona. I think this is usually around Turkey Rod Run. We did an install. I helped him. He did pretty much all the work on his car, but I want to show you a couple of before photos here. This is at his old shop, their old shop, and this is the way the engine looked last September. And he had blown this all apart, cleaning the engine bay, and then this is what the engine ended up looking like. This was taken in April of this year. Now, just a couple weeks ago, actually like about a week before the Tampa Kennedy cruise, this was his freshly rebuilt engine. He decided he wanted to have his dad rebuild it, and he basically helped with the assembly, and it's all nice and painted, all new parts, the water diverters. There's a new billet mount for the alternator. Everything is resealed. Everything is super nice. Now, he worked pretty much overtime to get this thing finished, and he came within a few hours of having it done. But I told him not to rush it, and he's actually going to get this thing finished up here shortly to be able to cruise it. There's the new water diverters. I'll do another video talking about the importance of those, but you could see that brass piece is pressed in there. What we're going to see here, and just a couple of other short photos of him assembling things. I was there mostly for moral support, but I help where I can. The engine bay, literally 1 week before the Tampa Kennedy cruise, looks like what you're about to see. And a lot of people probably doubted that he could even get it done. But I want to show you this video now of how the engine actually went in. That's how you put an engine in. A little bit easier. With the forklift, it's going to go right in here. Freshly detailed engine bay. Don't try this at home. Like I said, don't try this at home, haha. So here is, of course, time lapse. This is an awesome forklift that Tony has because he can move it forward and backwards. So he pulled it up first there for a moment. He pulled it back, and then he was able to get it exactly where we needed it. Now from here is basically the engine is now mounted in there. He just crawled right up underneath there. There's two big nuts that you have to screw on, and that secures it there. He did put a mount across the top of the engine to kind of hold it so it wasn't sagging in the back, and that allows for him to then go and move the car, put it on his lift. And our friend Anthony came by another day, I think the next day, and they installed the transmission, and I came right after that right around the time that was finished. You see Anthony right there. There's the car on the lift. Now, this is part of a shorter series of videos that I want to produce for the channel. So I'm going to wrap this one up. I know it kind of went quick. You can always pause it if you want to take a look closer, but I'm going to stay on this photo for a moment. Again, this is his engine bay back in April of this year, and it kind of just shows you after he originally cleaned it and really dialed things in. Let's just take a quick analysis of what we're seeing here. So Tony has an aluminum radiator with a custom shroud, and it has two electric fans that you can see here. A lot of guys will run dual fans. Some guys like me will end up running one fan, but certainly a lot of people swear by the electric fans on these cars. It's whatever's best for you, but certainly I love this setup that he has. You can see how nice the compressor looks in here, where for the AC compressor, you can see new belts. Now, a lot of this, I know some of you are going to scratch your head and go, hey, is this custom? Certainly the red on this car in the engine bay is custom, so you're going to see it everywhere from the custom valve covers. These actually came from old Lincoln parts. You've got the factory air cleaner, which in my opinion always looks best on these cars. You also have the 66, 67 mount here for the coil. Now, I've done this on my 64 as well. This is fantastic because you can use the factory studs, if you will, and your coil is mounted here on these 64, 65s versus up underneath the overflow. So expansion tank, if you will. So that's what you see powder coated red there as well. Also, this is the reservoir for the power steering fluid. So again, the whole reservoir gets powder coated. Here you see the expansion tank. I know it doesn't look like the original because this is a custom one. I think from the Radiator Lady, she was producing these. Now, although a lot of guys like myself will remove, you can essentially get rid of the expansion tank. There are people like Tony that says, you know what? It kind of keeps that factory look for the most part, but it gives you a more cleaner look because this is all smooth. It's all aluminum, and of course it's been powder coated, and then he has a billet polished cap, if you will, on there. Also, this is over here is the oil filler, and that is also powder coated, so that's pretty cool. He's got a red top Optima battery. I've always loved those batteries, contrary to what some people seem to say. I've never had an issue with them. He also has these braces. These are from Detroit Deviant. He was the first guest on Lincoln Addict podcast. He's out in the greater Orlando area. He's a great guy. And Detroit Deviant, I think .com is the official site. He sells miscellaneous different parts, including, it may be hard to see, but these covers in here, he does custom engraving, laser engraving on them. And what these kind of do is help hide a little bit of the unsightly manifolds, if you will. So some people kind of say, man, I wish I could clean that up some. And these kind of just bolt on the factory mounts. I haven't put this set on my car yet because when I did some brake work on it, one of my brake lines is in the way. So I need to kind of redo that before I can install mine. He set mine up with a custom engraving with Smuggler's Blues for my Blue 64. In addition, Tony loves these Hydro Boost setups. So you see the Willwood dual master cylinder here. It is a Hydro Boost setup, so it doesn't require a brake booster. So I think Tony's going to start selling kits. He's done several of these installs, and he really swears by them. And it's very much so like you'll see on some of the modern vehicles. Tony currently has the factory windshield wiper setup, so you'll see it here. But a lot of us don't really plan to drive our cars in rain. So what Tony's done is he's actually taken off the windshield wipers and put some little billet caps with an O-ring that kind of pop over. Makes it pretty clean, you know, especially when you're getting a low profile photo of the car. You don't see the windshield wipers there on the glass, but certainly I think a lot of people would probably opt to leave those. So I do believe he's going to end up kind of changing some of this up with the redoing, if you will, of the car. Again, this is from, April of this year. So just wanted to kind of call that out. There is an electric upgrade. There's a company out there that makes an electrical upgrade. You know, to me, if your wipers work, there's really no point to do that. But sometimes people, like even on my 64, mine aren't working. And I do believe that I need to get a new housing here. It's pretty rare that the windshield wipers don't work, per my friend Blair Farmer. But certainly that would be a custom type thing that someone may opt to do. But again, you can see the brace over here. And I think that kind of rounds it out. But what Tony did this next go around, and I'll do another video once the car's finished to kind of show you a comparison. But the engine bay now has been sprayed by our friend Joe in the Tampa Bay area. He's a painter. I had given Tony the feedback. In my opinion, I wouldn't have painted the engine bay red because it would have been too much in addition to what you see here. So Tony opted to go all black. I think more of a gloss, semi-gloss black, and then he'll have all of these accents. He's also updating to a Holley Sniper kit. What you can't see underneath here is an older EFI setup, and it kind of was at the infancy of when that stuff was starting to come out. The stuff is vastly improved, so a lot of times now, if you want to modernize it some and keep that factory drivetrain, you can go and add a Sniper type kit that replaces the carburetor, that adds some kind of EFI, if you will, electronic fuel injection, some of the monitoring of, you know, the fuel going into the engine. And that's key because different climates and things like that, you guys know how it goes with carburetors. I typically don't mind a carb, but I live here in Florida. We don't really deal too much with weather fluctuation. And my choke doesn't work on mine, so I kind of dump some fuel down it anyways. But again, if you want your car to turnkey every single time, the EFI is kind of a cool setup, and maybe I'll do a video here in the near future on it. As I close down here, I'll just show you, this is, we call it the Red Sled. It's pretty much what you see. It's a 65 Lincoln Continental, and it does have air suspension. It's not all cut up or anything like that a lot of people would say. It does have the isotope wheels on it. It has the factory interior. He did add the, which again, just to be clear, these cars did not come with a side view mirror here. That's a custom add-on. There's a company that makes those. But, for the most part, you see the engine bay pretty clean, although maybe a little bit more red than the average person would like. I really dig it. The trunk looks great. This is what it is. So hopefully you guys appreciate these little bit of a shorter video. Stay on the rise, everyone.